men's basketball tournament. These proceedings, held here in the Brian Burwell Memorial Interview Room, tip-off events in this building, as the top 6 seeds are presented prior to games 1 and 2 tonight. The house rules are simple, yet very important. 1, please turn off or silence your cell phones, please and thank you. Wait for one of our 2 mic holders, Karen or Dawn, to reach you before asking a question. If you want to get into the question rotation, just get their attention or mine. If you have a follow-up question, remind the mic holder so she stays with you. Today's sessions are 15 minutes long, and questions may be asked of anyone on the dais at any time. We'll have an opening statement from the coach and then questions for anyone who's up here. Southern Illinois will lead us off, followed by Wichita State and Northern Illinois, Iowa. Huskies are not here. And as advertised, the 5th-seeded Salukis are here. They'll play a game against the 4th-seeded Northern Iowa Panthers. In the quarterfinals, Sean O'Brien and Anthony Bean represent the student body. Head coach Barry Henson, the coach of the year of the Valley, is right in between them. We're going to ask Barry to open up with a statement, probably on his feelings about winning the award, and then we'll go to questions for all 3 individuals. Barry, please.
Okay, thank you. It's been a great, humbling experience for me today. I said at the banquet that the first person to receive that award was Mr. Iba, and I worked for Mr. Iba at Oklahoma State, so I think that's what makes it extremely special, as well as getting the opportunity to be around these guys on a daily basis and getting to see a program that's been on a drought since 2008 that we really feel like we're turning the corner at Saluki Nation. So thank you so much. It's been a pleasure to be a part of this league for 13 years. And I've never been unashamed to say I've had a passionate love affair with this conference for 13 years and feel very honored to be a part of it. Thank you.
Start with Dave.
Anthony, if you could speak to Coach winning the Coach of the Year, and you've been here for 4 years at SIU. What changes, what differences did you see in the program this year compared to your first 3?
I say mainly just the players and the team chemistry that we have. I could say this is the first time where the whole team's bought into what we're trying to do, and it's just everywhere you go, there's no negativity around, everything's positive.
Right down here, second row.
Anthony, you're supposed to be cleared yesterday to practice with contact. Are you on schedule with that? And have you practiced going into tomorrow?
Oh yeah, I'm gonna be ready to play tomorrow. I should be good.
Sean, if you could talk about just trying to attack Northern Iowa's length, how difficult is that?
They do a really good job of playing their pack line D, so obviously you have to get the ball turned to the second and third side, move them around a little bit, and then you try and find driving lanes, to penetrate and kick and get to the basket.
Anthony, could you talk a little bit about when the head injury happened Saturday, kind of what your feelings were, and maybe the next couple days, how all that went for you?
I don't remember what happened at the end, but I'm doing good. I just had a couple headaches, but no concussion symptoms, so I'm all right. Yeah.
Question left-hand side, gentlemen.
Coach Hinson, what are your biggest challenges facing UNI for the third time?
I think it's the same thing every time you face UNI. I think that one of the things that these guys do extremely well is everybody has a role, and they perform to their role at their best ability. Washburn sets up everybody for shots. Cook, obviously, and Carlson are really playing extremely well right now. I think much ado about their 9 out of their last 10 ball games is because they've established a really good interior ball game. Now all of a sudden you have to worry about these guys on the interior. It opens up for Jesperson, it opens up for Bohannon to shoot the basketball a lot freer.
Right back here.
Barry, winning the Coach of the Year today, can you tell us what you learned from Coach Iba, what you remember about him?
I think that, I don't mind telling you, this is a great story. I'll never forget the first time I went to Mr. Iba's house. And I went out there, it was a rainy day, and it was pouring down rain, matter of fact, and he wanted me to go to the mailbox and get his mail for him. And at that time, there was a big box, like a FedEx box, and it was George Raveling had sent him a bunch of gear from Iowa. And when I went out to get the mail, then I came in, and he was on the phone with Coach Knight. And while I was there, he got a call from Coach Smith. And I'm just like, wow. And then, of course, we went through the living room. We did all this. And I got tickled. I brought a notebook because I'm going to write down all my questions, and I'm going to write down all his answers. And I pulled out my little notepad or legal pad, and he said, young man, I'm going to talk, and you're going to listen. Put that down. And I'm going to give you 8 things. And the first thing he said will never, ever leave me. He just said, all you pups, because I was really young at the time. I was a junior high coach. And all you pups, all you're worried about is how to put that orange thing in the hole. The first thing you got to figure out is how to keep that orange thing out of the hole. And I'll never forget that as long as I live. That was a special moment. And then he gave me 7 other things. And when we got to item number 6, I'm trying to remember what items 3, 4, and 5 were. I don't hear 6 and 7 because I'm thinking Coach Iba's going to ask me to repeat all 8 of these things again, and I'm scared to death. So that was my first true meeting at Coach Iba's house. And then when I worked for him, when I say I worked for him, I worked in the college work-study program, and I was a janitor. That's what I was. I was a janitor. I cleaned bathrooms, scraped gum at that time. We didn't have any aerosol limits at that time. We had the freeze deal, and I'd use the putty knife, and then I'd hurry up and finish so I could go sit in the office with Mr. Iba and Chet Bryan and Byron Bird, and I'd listen tell old stories, and it just made my college career.
On the left.
Congrats on the Coach of the Year, Coach Hinson. You've had great success when you were at Missouri State, but when you took over the Saluki program, where you got them today and the year you had this year, is this, in your opinion, is this your best coaching job?
Guys, first of all, I say this, and I don't say this in a defensive way. I didn't do anything. We've had so many people that had a collective part of this process, because when we arrived at Southern, and Anthony came in with us immediately, and then Sean came in with us the next year, we were at a catastrophic situation academically. We were 342nd out of 347 teams. And Christina Steps is probably as much to do with me receiving this award today as anyone, because of what we did academically. We had no margin for error, or we would have gone on probation. We knew that. And the other teams in the league knew that because they used it against us in recruiting. So once we got past the APR probation last May, and after last year's mass exodus, I think it gave us an opportunity to be on a level playing field. I happen to work at a university that loves basketball. I work in a region that loves basketball. I work in a region in a county that is the poorest in the state of Illinois, but yet we're the richest people that you'd ever want to be around. I work in an area that, with all those stats that I just gave you, we're 4th in attendance this year. Southern Illinois loves basketball, and it is a tradition-rich area. Matt Painter, Bruce Weber, Chris Lowry, Rich Herron, and I get a chance to be a part of that fraternity, and I can't even begin to tell you what that means to me. So what we've done has been incredible. And over the last 8 years, I know our program's taken a hit, but because of this young man right here and this young man right here that believed in us, we have an opportunity to get this thing turned. And I think this year, for lack of better words, I think we finally turned the corner.
Anything else for the Salukis? All right, gentlemen, thank you very much.
Okay, guys,
Good
thanks for
luck
coming.
tomorrow. Conference, Wichita State. Ron Baker and Fred Van Vliet are with us, representing the student body. Fred, of course, the player of the year in the league. Head coach Greg Marshall will start off with a statement on his team, and then we'll go to questions for all three individuals. Greg?
We're here, ready to go. Play for a championship. That's all I've got.
Questions? Right in the back.
Coach, can you give us your take on your connection with St. Louis in terms of all these games here, not just Valley games, but NCAA tournament games, billboards, and the way your city comes to our city?
Yeah, Shocker fans are incredible. They've been coming here for years. When I took the job, they talked about how many times they've been to St. Louis and really had never had much success. We've had a little more success in my tenure, and they just continue to come. They're just very loyal. They put up the billboards, as you mentioned. There's just a love affair with this team, our program, and they show that on a nightly basis in Koch Arena, and then many of them, several thousand per year, trek east to St. Louis. I think it's about a 7-hour drive. I've never driven it myself, but our goal is to send them home happy on Sunday.
Stay right back there. Yes.
For Ron and Fred, can you give us an idea on the chemistry that you guys have put together for the last 4 years and how you kind of know each other in and out? And do you believe you're the best backcourt in America?
Fred, you first, please.
I think it just starts with relationships and personalities, and I think me and Ron, from the moment we met, kind of connected as friends, and eventually the more time you spend with people, the relationship grows stronger. So me and him have had a great relationship since day one, and then as we became the best players on the team, they see that there's no ego between us two, and it just trickles down throughout the team. So when we lead by example and set a good precedent, it tends to follow suit by the rest of the team.
For me, playing with Fred, having a good relationship on and off the court is something that's very special to me. I'm very grateful for that. I think what makes us good is we know each other's tendencies and habits on the court. I know what he's doing with the ball in his hands about 99.9% of the time, and we feed off each other on the court as far as confidence, and we're coachable towards one another, so that helps. As far as being the best backcourt, in my opinion, I believe we are. We like playing defense. It's what Coach preaches to us every day, and we play hard. And I believe that we're one of the best in the country as of right now.
Back there, we have a camera question.
Fred, winning Larry Player Bird of the Year, what's that mean to you? Just winning that award, especially as a senior, your second time winning it.
It's very special. Very humbled to win it again. The first time I was just caught up in the moment and didn't really understand the value of what it was. Probably because I wasn't expecting it. I think Clay Anthony was a player of the year that year, and him and Ron both had tremendous years, and either one of those guys could have won it. I thought Ron could have won it again this year, but the way I started the year off and being hurt and what I had to go through to get back, and what our team has been through to come this far and have it all come full circle, it's just been really special for me. So I'm very humbled, but I don't think any of us are in it for individual awards. We really would. I would trade it in for a championship on Sunday any day.
Anything else for the Shockers? Right here, second row, third row.
asking this because nobody else is going to. Ron, your reactions to Mitch announcing your Chippendales thing, in jest, but what did you think of that?
Barry, you're talking about Barry, what he said.
Was it Barry? Yeah, I'm sorry, Barry.
I thought it was pretty comical. Barry's always a real loyal guy. When we play them, very proud of him and his award that he received today, and his speech after was something I'll remember forever, and obviously very comical guy and always fun to be around.
On the right-hand side.
Ben Fredrickson from the Post-Dispatch. Question for Coach Marshall.
The people in Wichita don't make it feel like a mid-major program. If you want to say that, that's fine. It's your opinion, but I think it's a lot better than a lot of Power 5 jobs, and in many, many ways. So unless something changes, that'll be my opinion. And things do change. Things change, you know, on a yearly basis. But at this point, I think these guys would probably concur that we value what we have at Wichita State, and we have no regrets for coming and no regrets for staying.
Straight back.
Coach, I know you put countless hours in devising game plans for each game, but how often do you just say, Fred, go get a basket, or Fred, go get Ron the ball?
Oh, it's, you know, I don't care what kind of coach you are. At some point, the players just have to make plays, and that's part of coaching. A big part of coaching is getting the right group of players in your program. And, you know, I've been here 9 years, so I have no excuses. The guys starting your third or fourth year are all your guys. And I told these guys before senior day, we're not going to celebrate senior day until after the game is over. We have a game to win. But the one thing that I did tell them, that I was very lucky and felt like one of the luckiest coaches in the world to have assembled a group of guys like these seniors together. That's the genius, is getting these guys together for this long and just being allowed to coach them and mentor them and be with them and watch those guys make plays for this long together.
Anything else for the Shockers? Okay, gentlemen, thank you very much. Good luck. They'll play the winner of the Loyola-Bradley game, which is at 6 o'clock tonight. Next up on the dais will be Northern Iowa at 2:30.
Magical moments and epic performances. The spectacle and pageantry of NCAA March Madness. The road to the Final Four continues through St. Louis. Be there to share the experience with your family and friends. The NCAA Men's Basketball Championship first and second rounds, March 18th and 20th at Scott Trade Center in St. Louis. Single session tickets are on sale now. Visit ncaa.com/MBB tickets today.
Missouri Valley Conference basketball is coming to the Quad Cities. The Valley begins a new era in MVC tournament history. And get great seats for as little as $10 a session. Just $10. Don't miss the 2016 Missouri Valley Women's Basketball Championship, March 10th through 13th at the iWireless Center in the Quad Cities. Get your tickets, get to the Quad Cities, and discover your own marvels on the Mississippi now.
Northern Iowa Panthers are with us. They are the 4 seed. They'll play Southern Illinois in the second game on Friday. Matt Bohannon, Wes Washpun, and Paul Jepserson are here. But we're going to ask head coach Ben Jacobson to open up with a statement. Then we'll have questions for all 4 gentlemen. Ben?
Thank you. We're playing great basketball right now. It's been a really good 5-week stretch. These 3 guys that are sitting next to me made it happen. I said it a couple times in the last 10 days. Boy, we were spinning our tires for about 2.5 weeks, and these 3 guys just made it happen. Would not quit. Would not just continue to believe in who we are and what we do, how we do it, and really proud of them for doing the things that they had to do to get us going again. And like I said, man, we're playing great, and these guys are just doing awesome.
Questions start right here, and then number 2 will be right here.
Jeremiah Davis, Cedar Rapids Gazette. Coach, biggest difference coming in this year as compared to coming in last year?
We were playing really good last year. We're playing really good this year. Our teams were different, Jeremiah. I mean, if you look at, we had 5 seniors and 3 juniors, so we were older last year. And we were playing 9.5 guys instead of 7.5 guys, I guess. Those would be the 2 biggest differences. But in terms of how we're playing, obviously we're doing some things that are a little different offensively. We've got to defend a little bit different because of who we've got. But we were playing good when we got here last year at this time, and like I mentioned, we're playing great right now. So some similarities as well, in addition to the obvious differences with the teams.
This is for the 3 players. You kind of had a rough stretch at the beginning. Could you just tell me how you got that back, how you got your mojo back, and how much it was you and how much it was guys like Clint and some other guys that hadn't played as much that just developed?
We're going to start off with Matt, and then Wes, and then Paul will finish. Matt?
Like Coach said, we kind of got off to that slow start in conference and just weren't playing the way we knew we could. And defensively, we weren't taking as much pride as we needed to. And just overall toughness needed to be a little better. And we kind of came together and just said, we're better than this guys, and we need to come together right now and make it happen. And we did that. We fought through it. And even when the breaks weren't going our way, we still tried to keep fighting and keep playing each play like we knew we could and turn it around.
It was a little tough stretch, like Matt said, and we just kind of came together as a team. And the younger guys had a lot to do with that. They never quit on us, and they know how much this year means to us 3 seniors, and they kept working really hard, and it really helped us come together as a unit and as a team and be able to come through that rough little patch.
Yeah, I definitely think it was just a mindset for our team that we weren't going to lay down, we weren't going to give up. We got into practice, worked extremely hard each day, trying to get better each day. And those younger guys, they just came along with experience. Before this year, obviously, they weren't playing significant minutes. So as the seasons went along, they've improved a lot, and they've been a huge part of this year for us.
3 questions are up. Start in the back.
For Wes Washburn. Wes, how much improvement have you made from your junior to senior year? What ways do you think you improved, and how much influence has your dad had on you in basketball career?
My dad's had a huge impact on me in my basketball career. I mean, he's the one who put the ball in my hands when I was young, and he's the one who's mentored me up through high school, middle school, all the way through college. So he's been very important to me. As far as how I've improved, I'm doing a lot of things different. I have a bit of a different role this year than I did last year. But just trying to focus on keeping my turnovers down and getting these guys involved and being able to hit them in the right spots. And that's what makes our team go right now.
Ben Frederickson, the Post-Dispatch, for Coach Jacobson and Wes. Every year it seems like we read criticism or opinions on the transfer culture. Wes, it obviously worked out pretty good for you after leaving Tennessee. Does it get a bad rap, and why was it the right decision for you, Coach? How have you seen him progress since his decision to change schools?
Ben first, and then Wes.
Good. Yeah, and Paul, as you probably know, transferred to us from Virginia after being out there, going out there out of high school, and then transferred back. So we obviously have benefited from both of these guys, making the decision to come back and play at our place. And I just think there's some of both. There are, and these guys can talk a little more specifically about their situations, but there are oftentimes good reasons. Whether getting closer to home is a legitimate reason. If you can look at the roster and you can see that it's going to be another year or another 2 years, it doesn't mean you're selfish because you want to play. I mean, you only get to go through your playing career one time. So oftentimes that can be a legitimate reason to transfer. And there's some others. So I do think there are legitimate reasons. Now, I would tell you on the other side of it, and it doesn't fit our two guys here, on the other side of it, I think there are too many times where guys leave too quick for, let's say, not necessarily legitimate reasons. Don't give it enough time. Feel like that they have to play. If they're not starting and they're not playing, the moment they step on campus, even though the guy's a senior and he's going to be leaving, or he's a junior and they got to maybe one more year. So I can see both sides of it. I guess my feeling, I wish there's too many guys that transfer now. I don't know, that number 600, 700, whatever it is. I don't think that's great for the college game to have that many guys transferring. But again, I think there's some legitimate reasons on both sides, and we're happy, lucky, and fortunate that our two guys transferred for the right reasons and that we got them.
Wes, regarding the transfer?
Yeah, I mean, like Coach said, there are good and bad reasons to transfer. I personally transferred to be closer to home, and I had a good relationship with the coaching staff throughout my high school recruitment and stuff like that, so it ended up being a pretty good fit. With them having a scholarship open at the time, I decided to transfer in. And I knew the guys on the team, like Bo and Seth and Max, Martino and Nate Buss, and all those guys were on the team at the time, so I had a good relationship with those guys as well, so it was just really a perfect fit for me at that time.
We are under 5 minutes. We have a question there and then here.
For the three players, Paul, Wes, and Matt, you guys were a big part of winning this tournament last year, winning Arch Madness. Anything you can share with us that you took from that experience that you think can help you now this year as the seniors?
Opposite way. Paul first, then Wes, then Matt.
I definitely think we can take something away from last year. Anytime you get in a situation like that, you definitely learn a little bit about yourselves and about your team. And, the biggest thing I remember about last year is just how close we remained in some of the games that we had. I think it would have been easy for us to turn around in some of those games and just accept losing, but we got closer in some of those situations and were able to fight through and come back and win some of those games. So I think that's the biggest thing that I took away from last year coming down to this tournament.
The biggest thing that I took away personally was just one game at a time, 20 minutes at a time, breaking it down like that. Just little stretches, there are going to be runs both ways, and it's the team that can weather the storm that's going to come through it all, and just got to take it one at a time.
Yeah, just like what I said, you can't get ahead of yourself. This is a 3-game tournament, but at the end of the day, you can't get to the second game without winning the first game and so on. So we just got to focus on Southern right now. And the nice thing is, not the nice thing, but even before last year, we've had some stretches where we come down here and played just one game and been done. And we don't want to do that because that's no fun. And we just got to understand that we got to give it a full effort for 40 minutes and understand that it's our season on the line, basically, come tomorrow afternoon.
2 questions remaining. Right here, go.
Coach, playing SIU for the third time, we asked you Monday about it. After reviewing film, has your opinion on that changed on how you're going to attack the guys?
Not really. Like we talked about Jeremiah, and it's happened to us a couple times where you just get done playing a team either the last game of the regular season or the game before that, and then you turn around and play them right away again, and it just has a different feel to it. That situation is different. But we haven't seen Southern for a while, and like I've talked about with our team, we're playing great, playing easily our best basketball of the year. Southern has had and I think I mentioned this Monday, but Southern has had a tremendous year. Being picked 9th and now having the non-conference they did, of course, but the way that they have played through the 18 Valley, they've just had a terrific year. And I think it's happened because the guys that have returned got better. All 4 of those starters are better than they were last year. The guys they added fit perfect. It doesn't always go that way for us. As coaches, we working hard to make it fit perfect, but it doesn't always happen. Well, Rodriguez has been the right guy to play the point for him so that Bean can get off the ball. And Vincent and the other guys that are new and coming off the bench, it has all been right for them. So our guys know we're playing a really good team and one of the best players in the Midwest for sure, as I've mentioned. So our guys know what we're up against.
Final question.
I guess time of the year when a lot of schools that are going to be hiring coaches are looking for next coaches. What would your advice be to a coach who is having success at was perceived to be a mid-major school who's trying to debate whether or not to take the step forward or perceived step forward? Let me say.
Yeah, I guess the only place I can go is my experience, and it as we've gone through some of those conversations and had some of those opportunities come our way, my wife and I, and the only thing we talk about is making sure that, or we think about the fit. We don't talk about money. We don't talk about, this, that, or the other thing, even resources or what. We just talk about the fit, and we've been extremely fortunate that we've got the right fit at our place. Now, for somebody else, maybe the best fit is a move. Maybe it is somewhere else. But the only thing I would say is give some thought to the fit, and that for us, our conversations, like I said, that doesn't include the money and some of those other things. For us, it's been about the people, and because we've chosen to do it the way we have, and we think we found the right fit, that means I get to be with these guys when they're seniors, and it's been awesome. So I guess that would be the only thing I would say.
Thank you very much, gentlemen. Best of luck.
Thanks.
Indiana State will be next.
Hey, Ace, how you doing? Good to see you. Good to see you. John. Good. How are you doing?
We have someone here that I wasn't expecting, so you have to tell me who's here.
Devontae Christian. Was he not supposed to be here?
I was told it was going to be just Devontae. And Scott's here too? Okay. I know I got his card. Brandon Scott. The Indiana State is here. They are the 6th seed. They will play the 3rd seed Illinois State Redbirds. We're going to ask head coach Greg Lansing to start off with a statement, then we'll have questions for all 4 people on the dais. Greg, please.
Just really excited about being here. It's one of the best conference tournaments in the country. More excited about being with these 3 guys up here and in our new season. And they've been, especially these 2 seniors, Brenton only being a sophomore, redshirt sophomore, but being around Christian and Devontae, just can't thank them enough for what they've done to our program on and off the court. And I'd love to see them go out in a special way. They were here in a tournament final that we didn't get done, and I think everybody's here to try and win a championship. We didn't win the regular season championship, but there's one right here in St. Louis, so just ready to go.
Start off, Todd.
This question's for Greg, and then the players can join in afterwards. Was just listening to Ben Jacobson. He said something interesting. I thought they went through a rough patch at the beginning of the year, and he said they stayed the course, and that really made a difference in terms of, pulling back together and getting on the winning track. Can you talk about your approach with that? And for the players, can you talk about the approach you guys need to take to, turn this tournament into a positive moment?
And I've talked to Jake about it too. He and I are good friends, and obviously what they did was probably a little bit better than what I did, as a head coach. They did stay the course. They got a lot of guys that have been a lot of big games, NCAA tournament team, and doing those things, and those guys hung in there with them. And I think they were playing 4. I think he says they have 4 sophomores in their top 8. So, if you're not playing well in the league, you're going to lose. And we did lose our way. We lost our way for a while, and these guys would be the first ones to tell you. And tried a lot of different things, some that didn't work, obviously. But again, you're going against. We had a very difficult schedule. You're going against really good teams that are playing at a high level, and we weren't. And you saw the results of it. But none of that matters right now. Finished on a high note, played better, and we've had better practices. And I know, I trust these guys, and they'll be ready to go tomorrow. There's no question. We're gonna have a good half hour out here to shoot. We're gonna go practice, and I'd be shocked if they weren't locked in and ready to go tomorrow night.
Okay, same question. We'll go with the student athletes. Devontae, you'll start off, and then Christian, and then Brendan.
Yeah, I think it's just it's a good opportunity. We come in here, everybody's undefeated, and we got a game under our belt, a win streak going. So, and that's all we prepared to do. We're gonna have a good little practice here, get shoot shots up, and go over and get a good practice. And everybody just focused and locked in and prepared for the task at hand. So, we stayed the course, and it was a little rocky, but we found our way, and that's the only way. That's the only thing you can be happy about. You found your way going into the conference tournament.
I would just say everybody goes through rough patches in the season. A lot of teams, Illinois State went through it, Northern Iowa went through it. It just happened that we had at the wrong time of the year. You kind of want to build momentum towards March and everything like that. But, we always kept our heads up high, and we stayed positive with each other. We stayed positive with the process, and everything worked out. We're still here. We still have another fighting chance. So, we're not really worried about what happened behind us. All we can worry about is these next days right here in front of us.
I agree with what Coach said and Devontae and Christian said. We went through a little rough patch, and with our last game against Bradley, we try to correct things and try to get back on the right path. And we get a new start here in this conference tournament, and we're all going to be locked in, ready to go. For our shoot around in our practice today, and we're going to be ready tomorrow night.
Go here, Jim, and then back here, Dawn.
Devontae, what did Illinois State do differently the second time you played them? They were able to hold you to 2 points that second time?
They just stuffed the box. They just packed a lot of guys in, and I kind of wasn't prepared for the coaches prepared for me a little bit, but I wasn't as prepared to really see it. And they did a really good job as far as stopping the team, not just me. A lot of guys on the team didn't have a good night that night, but it's really about preparation for this one. We know what they're going to do, and we made some minor adjustments to be prepared for what they're going to do, so we'll be all right this time.
Greg, when you play Illinois State, what is the biggest concern from the coaching side of it?
Oh, a lot. Where do you start, really? Well, they're as gifted athletically and skill-wise as anybody in the league, and they have several matchups across the board that are difficult, and they're not just difficult for us, they're difficult for anybody. It shows they've beat everybody in the league this year, and they got guys playing at a high level right now. Dan's got them playing with the toughness of like when he played, and they shorten their bench, they're playing 8, and all those guys know they're going to get their minutes, so they're coming in supremely confident, and I really think they've played awfully well at the defensive end, and they really did. Like Devontae said, stuff the box, doing a good job of taking away other team strengths, and we need to do the same, and trying to make some adjustments, but they have been very impressive playing here down the stretch.
This question's for Christian and Brenton. For both of you guys, you've beaten all the teams in your side of the Arch Madness bracket, including Illinois State. Teams evolve over time, but is that something you guys can fall back on, when you look at the tournament as a whole, and certainly for tomorrow night's matchup against Illinois State?
Christian, you first, please.
I think that's the one reason why we walk in here with our heads held so high, because, we know what we're capable of, and, what the coaching staff has taught us this whole year, and what our background is made of. It's proven, obviously we went through a rough patch, but, if you look back at those games, our defense was, top notch, and everything was flowing right. We were moving the ball right. Everything was going. So, yeah, we do have a little confidence in us too, but, it's March. Anything can happen. So we're not, guaranteeing anything, but we know what type of team that we're capable of. Yeah, make sure it's on first.
Looking back at, those games earlier in the conference season, beating those teams, and knowing that we get to, another chance to play them again on our side of the bracket, gives us a great deal of confidence. And I think, we're just going to be ready to play. And, we know what we have to do. And looking back at those games, we played great. We played good basketball. So, we know we can play at that level again here in March.
This is for Devontae and Christian. Not going to belabor the point, but last year was not a pleasant memory here playing. How much does that drive your motivation this year to make it better?
I think it's been motivation for the entire season. I think the games that we lost and the rough patch we went through, we forgot that motivation, and it's definitely motivation here, especially it being Christian, Brandon, and myself's last rod here at the conference tournament. It's always motivation, and in times like this in March, you got to find something to motivate you and make you play at a higher level. If you're not, you got to find something to really push you over that edge and have you play with that type of intensity. And it's just a great opportunity anyway to play with a guy like Brent Scott, K. Smith, and Brandon. So, and be coached by this guy. So it's going to be a good opportunity.
Christian, same question.
I think it's motivating just because, like Devontae said, this could be our last game. It's a college career. So just coming out here knowing that you have to give your all, you have to give 100%, or else, it's not going to go your way, especially with a talented team like we're getting ready to face. So, everything has to be different. Our focus, our preparation, our mentality, everything has to be, win or go home, because obviously that's the situation we're in. And last year is definitely more motivating. It should be motivating to everybody in that locker room right now, regardless if they played in it or not, because, we still have that name on our chest, and that carries over until we change it.
Question in the back.
For Devontae and Christian, you guys obviously have played in this tournament now 4 years. What does that leadership bring to some of those younger guys as you prepare for a game on Friday night, especially it being a later game than you typically play throughout the season?
Christian, you'll start off this time, followed by Devontae.
I think the first 2 games are just a lot different just because they're home and away. It's just, who can come out to get, who can prepare for the game plan. And then conference, this is a dogfight. Every possession matters. I remember our sophomore year when we played Southern, and that game came down to the last final seconds, and it didn't matter what seed you were, what your record was. Like I said, it's in March. Everything matters. So, just got to relay these guys. The last 2 games that we played against them doesn't matter. Like, this game right here is most important. Every possession matters. Like I said, it doesn't matter. Everybody's capable. Anybody can go off for a big night, So we just got to be locked in and focus on every aspect of the game.
I think it's just they got to understand that the most important game is the first game. And when it comes to the conference tournament, it's not really about the offensive end. because everybody's going to move the ball at this, and everybody knows you got to move the ball, but it's really comes down to the defensive end. If you can play defense at a elite high level in a conference tournament, you're going to have a good chance of winning. And that's really, it's got to, like Kirsten says, it's a dogfight every single possession. You can't take one off. If it's a fast break, you got to go ahead and bust it and take a foul, and maybe might be your second one, but that might put them on the free throw line, but it also stops that momentum. So it's really about stopping momentum and defense and really being scrappy on the defensive end.
Stay in the back. Go.
For Devontae and Brenton, you guys obviously were named second team all-conference. What's that do for your spirits, kind of just to see that everybody overlooked that rough patch a little bit? Obviously, you guys didn't, but still to be able to get that notoriety from the conference.
Brenton first, please.
Knowing Devontae and myself, we obviously, second team, we want to be on the first team, obviously, but that 6-game losing streak wasn't, what we expected, and it's not what we wanted to have for ourselves. But, it's a great accomplishment, especially for a guy like myself, just being younger. And I'm just learning, I'm learning from these guys right here. And I'm just thankful, and, I'm just thankful for my coach, and I'm just learning and trying to get better.
I mean, it's always a good thing to be honored by your peers, and it's a blessing. I mean, nonetheless, but to have a guy like B. Scott and to get something like that, it speaks to his tremendous work ethic and where he's come along. Because a lot of people doubted him, and he kept playing. He fought through a lot of things, and the way guys are playing him, and he still was successful. And it just speaks to how our coach is making these little minor adjustments to make sure that we are successful as players in different areas of the floor. So it just speaks to it's an honor first and foremost, but I'm just thankful anyway.
Anything else for the Sycamores of Indiana State? Okay, gentlemen, thank you very much.
Thank you.
Best of luck tomorrow. Thank you. Thanks for job. Illinois State will be next.
Can we come?
And as advertised, the number 3 seeded Redbirds are here. They will play the team that just left the dais, Indiana State. We have Devon Akun-Purcell and Paris Lee representing the student body. Coach Dan Muller is in between. He'll start off with a statement about his team, about being in St. Louis, and then we'll go to questions for all 3 gentlemen. Dan, please.
Yeah, pleasure to be here. One of my favorite times of the year. Great experiences as a player, and hopefully some great memories will be built this weekend. Team's been doing very well. Really happy with where we're at and excited about tomorrow night.
Start right back there.
Coach, can you talk about, you've played in this tournament, you've won this tournament, and now you're coaching in it. You get the same thrills and fun out of it?
Yeah, I do. And, I think my freshman year, it was the second or third year it was in this venue. And certainly great memories as a player. But last year's experience with this team was one of my fondest memories, to be honest. Obviously, if we could have finished it, it would have been even better. But I get great joy out of seeing these guys be successful. And I do know what it feels like to win. And I'm hoping this team can have that feeling Sunday. But we know what it will take to get it done.
Right here, Todd.
This question's for Paris and Devon. For both of you guys, can you talk about just your overall defensive improvement in the second half of the Valley season and what that's meant to your success coming here to St. Louis, and what it'll mean in tomorrow's game as well?
Paris first, please.
We improved a lot from the beginning of the first half of the season, and I think the defense is going to determine which team wins the tournament actually, and That's basically it.
I'll say I feel the same. Most definitely towards the end of the season, we picked it up a lot defensively, and that's why we've been more successful down in the end. And hopefully we can do the same in this tournament.
For Paris and Devon, the two games you've lost recently, maybe it's been defensive breakdowns more than anything. Could you just talk about what happened in those games and maybe what you learned, what lessons you learned from those games that you can carry forward here?
Devon, you're first this time.
I'll say that we definitely did lose those games because of defense and lack of discipline and scouting reports, and that's just something we got to build off of, just like we've been doing in the past. We've been doing a way better job of building off our mistakes and getting past them. So hopefully we could do that this weekend.
And to pick up off what Devon just said, I feel like a couple guys in them games, everybody wasn't locked in, and in order to play good defense, we need everybody, including the players on the bench, to be locked in with us.
We'll go here first, then back to Jim.
Dan, this one's for you. The two previous games against Indiana State were very different, obviously. How much do past matchups really influence the third one? And especially when you have two different ones like you did this year, how relevant are those two games to tomorrow's game?
Yeah, and our first game was right at the beginning of the conference season, so it feels like forever ago. Anytime you play a team a third time, which in this tournament you always will, you look at adjustments. You look at what worked well, what didn't work. You try to guess what the team that you played against is going to do differently, and so you're prepared. But that being said, these guys know tomorrow night's game our previous two games have nothing to do with tomorrow night's game. I mean, nothing whatsoever. The team that comes out most locked in, most focused defensively, executes, makes big shots is going to win. Can you learn some things from the first two games? Sure. But our second game with them was an anomaly. I mean, we played great. They played terrible. And we know it's going to be completely different tomorrow night.
A couple of you are wearing shirts with obviously Torrey's likeness on there. Could you just talk about maybe what you remember from him here from last year and just how his kind of memory has really carried the team this year?
Paris first.
Coach Ward, he always kept everybody calm, cool, and collective. And to be honest, whenever we felt like we were just basically losing it or lost our mind, lost our head, I would say he was the perfect guy to talk to.
I feel the exact same way. We missed him a lot, and last year it was a lot of fun with him being here. So I feel like we need to go ahead and do this for him this year.
Yeah, memories with Torrey, they never stop, and certainly we have great memories from here from last year. Just his calming presence with our players, his attitude, his confidence he gave our players, how much fun he had, how much he enjoyed every game, but especially the tournament, how competitive he was, and on the bench before games, during games, after the games, Torrey was Torrey.
Right here, Kirk.
Yeah, Dan, you went through the struggles everybody's talked about, and you had lost 3 in a row, and then you went on streak where you won 8 of 9, and then the one loss was an overtime loss. Was it as simple as just flipping a switch, or was it a result of a process, or what happened that helped turn that corner and get you to where you are now?
Yeah, it definitely wasn't a flip of a switch. Anytime you build, it is a process, as you said, Kurt, and from Christmas or the game before Christmas, when they came back, our guys were just more focused on doing what the team needs, really bought into their roles at a much higher level, and started playing for each other. They always liked each other, but we weren't playing for each other yet. And so we started off 3-0, lost 3 in a row, but our practices continued to be really good. And now we started playing better on both ends, is the truth. It wasn't just offense or defense. If you look at our offensive numbers, starting then we were making more shots, we were taking better shots, we were making our free throws, and then defensively we picked it up. So every aspect of the game we improved since we got back from Christmas.
On the right-hand side, gentlemen.
This is the kind of the time of the year for you, Coach, where schools that are looking to make hires are often looking at these kind of tournaments to see who's doing well. But there are a couple examples of coaches in this league of guys who have not had opportunities at Northern Iowa and Wichita State and haven't moved on. Do younger coaches look to those guys? They see maybe I don't know if it's a trend, but recognize some guys saying, hey, it's going to take a really good opportunity or no opportunity to pull me out of a place that I like.
Yeah, the way I would respond to that is just this is a really good league with a lot of really good programs. I'm blessed to be at Illinois State. Of course, I graduated from there, so it's got a special place in my heart. But you can have great success, win nationally in this conference, and I think we've seen that. It starts with the players. It goes to the support of your department, which I can tell you at Illinois State, we've got unbelievable support from our president to our athletics director down the line. And you can be happy and successful in the Missouri Valley and can win nationally. So I think that's what every coach wants, and we have terrific coaches in this league.
Anything else for the Redbirds of Illinois State? All right, gentlemen, thank you very much.
Thank you, guys.
And good luck. Our final team up here will be the Evansville Aces, and we'll do that at 3:15.
Missouri Valley Conference basketball is coming to the Quad Cities. The Valley begins a new era in MVC tournament history. And get great seats for as little as $10 a session. Just $10. Don't miss the 2016 Missouri Valley Women's Basketball Championship, March 10th through 13th at the iWireless Center in the Quad Cities. Get your tickets, get to the Quad Cities, and discover your own marvels on the Mississippi now.
The magical moments and epic performances, the spectacle and pageantry of NCAA March Madness. The road to the Final Four continues through St. Louis. Be there to share the experience with your family and friends. The NCAA Men's Basketball Championship first and second rounds, March 18th and 20th at Scottrade Center in St. Louis. Single session tickets are on sale now. Visit ncaa.com/MVB tickets today.
As advertised, our final interview session is with the Evansville Aces. They're the number 2 seed. They will play the winner of Missouri State and Drake, who will play at 8:30 tonight. Marty Simmons is the head coach. DJ Ballantyne is the first-team All-MVC selection. And Mislav Brozoya is the 6th man of the year. They're here on the dais. We're going to ask Marty to open up with a statement about his team, about being here in St. Louis, and we'll go to questions for all 3 Aces. Marty?
Well, we're excited, I'm sure, as all the other teams to be here. It's a great place to host the tournament. It's first class. We're excited about our team, and we're looking forward to the competition. Should be a great tournament.
Question in the back.
Coach, can you talk about the addition of Lennox Forrester to the staff and what he's brought to the team this year?
I wish he'd be in here so he could hear the answer to that. Lennox is a unique guy. He's been a close friend since he was a player at the University of Evansville. He had the unfortune of not being able to play. He had an injury that caused him not to play. He's probably as good a human being as I've ever been around. Great role model, great mentor for all of our players. He's got tremendous knowledge of the game, and he's brought all that to our staff. And he takes a lot of pride, being a former player at Evansville and also a former coach. He understands, what being there is all about. But his personality, our players love him. They look up to him. He brings great energy. He's just, we're just thrilled to death to have him.
How's it going, Coach? Just how you guys feeling? Come in, meet expectations, preseason, number 2 pick behind Wichita. You finished number 2. How you guys feeling going into the tournament?
I think we're all excited, It's that time of year. Really proud of how our guys finished, the regular season. We stumbled there at home against Northern Iowa at the end. But overall, I think they did a lot of neat things. And I think this week has been a good week practice, and we're excited about playing.
Right back there on the end.
Coach, how helpful is it to have the nation's best rebounder on your team, and what's it like to watch him work down there?
Been great. I mean, I think anytime you lead the nation in any category, it's pretty special. And to lead it in a category like rebounding, which is more effort, probably than anything, makes it even more special. But he's a unique individual. He's gotten better each and every year. He deserves all the credit. He's the one that does it every night. He's been so consistent with that, and he's a guy that could have not came back this year and played, but he decided to come back to get a second degree and be with his teammates, which I think is pretty neat.
Back to front.
DJ, how excited are you to get this going? I know everyone's got their eyes on Wichita, but you guys finished 2nd best team in the conference. You got to feel pretty good. How are you guys just excited to get things going?
Yeah, just really excited. I've always been a really big fan of Arch Madness and St. Louis, so I think if you ask any of the guys on the team, they can't wait to play. So, we're really antsy. We had a practice today that we were just all really excited for Friday, and it should be a lot of fun.
On the aisle.
Coach, being the 2 seed, not yet knowing your opponent and who you will play, is there an advantage to that you can kind of focus on yourself in preparation, or might there also be some disadvantages to that, not knowing your opponent?
Probably a little bit of both. I mean, if you know who your opponent is, you get certainly all week to hone in and prepare. But we've tried to take the similarities of the two, and there are some, and try to focus on that and get prepared there. And also, like you said, worry about ourselves. Earlier in the week, we didn't do a lot of contact, and as the week has progressed, we've got into that. But I think, again, I think it's been a good week for us.
I know the conference tournament hasn't been very kind to you guys in the past. Is that something that you guys are, obviously kind of trying to get over that hump? I think when I looked back at it, was you have 2 wins in the last 10 tournaments total. Is that something that you guys are just trying to get over the hump as a team?
Mislav, we'll start with you, and DJ will follow.
We're not thinking about it right now. This is a new year, new season for us. We did good in a conference, and I think we're going to be ready for this tournament tomorrow.
Yeah, just like Mislav said, the past is the past. It's a different team. I think we're